waiting and seeing is also not a way that you're going to win this battle. I mean, look, if you're waiting on the feds to come in and hold a civil rights trial on these cops, well, let's just get into that. This is the federal government and the Justice Department that has issued rulings legitimizing torture, indefinite detention, warrantless government spying. This is the federal Justice Department that investigated the situation down in Jena, Louisiana, where those 6 youth were facing like decades in jail for standing up against lynching nooses. And this federal Justice Department found nothing wrong in that case, in the way that those youth had been targeted and persecuted. So this is what you're waiting on. As for waiting for the city to in some way discipline these cops through the internal police department proceedings, let's just be real. The worst that can come out of that for these cops is that they lose their job. That's the worst. What is more likely to happen is maybe one of them will lose their jobs, others will get a reduction in pay, or, you know, off a couple of weeks or something like that. And see, let's weigh that in relation to the cost of what they did. Sean Bell is dead. I saw one of his friends who was in the car with him, I believe it was Trent, at the Father's Day event for justice, and he still has a thing strapped to his leg because he needs that kind of support to be walking, and this is more than a year and a half later. So that's what they were responsible for, and for that they're just going to lose their jobs. That ain't touching it. That ain't dealing with it. See, and as for waiting for Obama to come in and do something about this, well, let me just say this. Barack Obama was asked after the exoneration of these cops what his response was to the verdict, and he said, "When I first heard about this case, I thought it was excessive. But the court has come down with its verdict, and we are a nation of laws. So we have to respect this verdict." Well, bullshit, you know. Because at different points in this country's history, courts issued rulings that said black people had no rights that white people need to respect. That, you know, the fucking founding documents of the country said black people were to be counted as 3/5 of the land. It was legal to own black people. And were it not for the fact that black people, but also large numbers of white people, refused to respect these laws and fought against them, I don't know what kind of shit we might be dealing with today. So this thing of you got to respect laws just because they were issued by a court. No, you got to actually get at, were the verdicts of these courts just and fair or not? And if they were not fair, then you have to say, no, this should not stand and it has to be opposed. See, because look, just on whatever level you want to do it, waiting for something or someone to take care of this comes down to leaving it to the system to do something about this. And if you take that approach, it's going to leave this problem and all it concentrates intact. Because if this could have been solved somehow within the system, it would have been dealt with by now. The deal is that this must stop, and that means we have to step up to stop it. The youth have to be unleashed to be on a mission to stop this, and everybody has to join them in that mission. We have to do all that we can to build a fight against this kind of official terror and brutality, a fight that can beat it back today. And we have to do this as part of bringing closer the day when we can get rid of all this through revolution and bring into being a radically different way for people to live here and around the world. So that's what I had to say. And I want to thank people for listening. And now